when you have those drinks that are like, I taste how much this is going to hurt me later, it's an entirely different story. And so
you're just sipping like juice at that point.
Yeah.
Like soju is dangerous, Zach. It's just
oh, do you want to have like a vodka and cranberry juice drink? And I was like, sure, yeah. They were just pouring and pouring and pouring, and basically I don't remember getting home.
Yeah, you got fucking destroyed. Let's go, bro. He's like, what are you doing, Arthur? You're supposed to finish it. Come on, how are you gonna get drunk? And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I do one of the probably the biggest mistakes of the night. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anuki Station. I'm Arthur, here with Zach.
Hi.
And we're in the backyard again. So welcome back, Zach. It has almost been a bit. It's funny because I mentioned that. What did I say? I said that we would not have a week break because we timed our episodes correct so that we would have like at least once a week. And then as I said that, we missed a week. So that was very ironic.
Son of a bitch.
But we're here. It's all good.
Yeah, I think our ambitions were there. Like, we were trying so hard not to miss a week.
It's really hard. But hold on, shut up, Zach. There's something important.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Zach.
Thank you.
Yes. Happy birthday. You mentioned that we launched the first very episode on your birthday.
Yeah.
And I played around that it was unintentional. It was unintentional because we had no fucking clue when we were going to upload it. It just ended up happening to be on that day, on a Monday, I believe, or whatever day we decided it was going to be on.
I think technically it was a Tuesday.
I think it was a Tuesday, and it was just perfect. Yeah, and it just worked out. So I was like, hell yeah. But so it was like half intentional, half not intentional. It was just like we were gonna start this show whenever. We just had no clue when it was gonna happen. By the time that episode happened, and I said happy birthday, it was like episode 10. It was like what was going on? You know?
Dude, it's so funny because I think about like the recording process leading up to like the launch of the channel.
Yeah,
and we just were recording so many episodes. Like, we started recording before the YouTube channel was even up.
Yeah, we had everything ready. We were recording. The YouTube wasn't ready, the Spotify wasn't ready. God, getting the Spotify to work was goddamn crazy. We were on SoundCloud before, but then you had to pay for SoundCloud. I was like, what? When did we have to pay for SoundCloud? I don't remember this. Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, but I pointed it out to you like last week or something like that, and I was like, that is like the perfect, most symbolic thing ever, because like, you know, what better birthday present could I have gotten than to launch this really awesome channel that, you know, we've been working on for a while.
Yeah. And here we are. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. I do have a birthday present for you, but classic 2022 problems, stuck in shipping. So, you know.
Oh, it's totally okay.
It'll get here at some. I don't even have a date. I'm like, all right, well, thank you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
USPS.
Thanks. Or whatever. Not US. It's G Fuel, Zach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll get you some G Fuel.
Okay.
Because you're due for some G Fuel, Zach. I'm going to make you quit energy drinks so you can stop being sick every time we record for some reason. So it'll be fantastic.
Yeah. I've had such a weird roller coaster of health problems lately. It's been the most obnoxious thing. Like, yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm here.
You are here today, and we're able to make it work as long as we hit the schedule. No, we have plenty of time. Don't worry about it. But
as long as I get the hell out of here within the next 3 hours, we're fine.
We're fine. I do have a topic, a little bit of a topic, since it is your birthday. Do you have any drinking stories? Drinking tales.
Drinking tales.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now, not quite sure about you, but I can make the assumption that none of us are experienced alcoholics. Well, maybe you more so than me. I am not very much so a experienced alcoholic myself, but, you know, I dabble here and there. I'm more of the guy who's just has people pour me things and I drink it.
Yeah.
Which, for the very first time, I felt the downfall, Zach. I don't know if I told you. Maybe I did. Last weekend, I got destroyed for the first time.
Oh no!
I got murdered last weekend, and it was not pretty. But I'll let you go first because it's your birthday. I'll let that me getting drunk for the very first time, and not just drunk, vomit drunk.
Oh no!
And I'll save that. So Zach, You can go first.
Okay, I mean,
have anything?
since you're talking vomit drunk, I do have a story. So, for the sake of this story, it had to have happened over the course of the last year. So Cinco de Mayo, right?
Yeah.
So my family is really close with our neighbor's family. And my parents are really good friends with them, and like I've known their kids since we were young. And so Cinco de Mayo came around, and you know, they were like, hey, why don't you come over, you know, we'll have some margaritas, some tacos, it'll be a grand old time. And I hadn't really figured out what my limit was with like margaritas and those types of drinks, because they don't really taste like alcohol. It's it's when you have those drinks that are like, oh, okay, I taste how much this is going to hurt me later. It's an entirely different story. And so, you know,
you're just sipping like juice at that point.
Like
it's just it's dangerous. Like, have you ever had soju?
No.
Soju is dangerous, Zach. It's just it's served to you in like a lemonade pitcher. You could just drink it like it's water. It's dangerous, Zach. And it's like 20-30%. Maybe not 30, not quite there. It's like 20%. Dangerous.
Yeah, that is a dangerous game.
But yeah,
so, you know, the margaritas were being poured. Everything was great. I had like 2 margaritas, and then, you know, we were like, oh, let's have a bonfire. Yay, fun.
Hell yeah.
And so we were all just sitting at the fire, and, you know, they had a pitcher of pre-mixed like margaritas. And so, you know, they were just pouring and pouring and pouring. And, you know, at some point they were like, oh no, we're out of margarita mix. And then one of she's not really a kid, but like one of the younger people there was like, oh, do you want to have like a vodka and cranberry juice drink? And I was like, sure, yeah. And then I had a couple of those. I ended up finishing a margarita that I think it was like my mom's or something.
Okay.
And then basically I don't remember getting home.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember getting into bed. All I remember is at one point waking up and seeing like a spot of like tacos that had been vomited.
Exited your body.
Yeah, that
had been exiled.
That were at one point in my body.
And then now it's on a platter of just tacos.
A platter called carpet.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, so that happened, and apparently my mom, for some reason, was around. She was like, oh no, Zach, you got way too drunk. And I was like, yeah, I know, I made a mistake. Poor life choices were made. But yeah, I don't think I've had margaritas really since then. I think I've had like one maybe. But you know, it's definitely a very a very interesting feeling when you're just like, oh yeah, you know, this is fine. We're having a time. This is great.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into absolute.
You don't really know where that transition is because you're so like loopy. So when I went to Pullman, yes, I'm gonna still hold it. I'm still holding the story. I went to, so I needed to set the stage, or even let's just say, yeah, let's say when I turned 21. Let's start there. When I turned 21 and I had my first drink, and I think I've said before, I think we were talking about this during the gambling episode, I don't really need to drink to have fun. You know, I enjoy parties and social gatherings, although I consider myself more on the introvert side. I enjoy, you know, hanging out and, you know, having a time. And I spent 18, 20, 21 years not drinking at family parties anyways. So I was just, you know, I don't really mind. If I do drink, I'll probably crack open a beer or two at most, right? Maybe like 1 or 2 rounds of shots and I'm done. It's all good, you know?
Yeah.
Enough to be able to drive home. You shouldn't. Don't drive home. Okay, drink. I guess we should preface drink responsibly. This is not a drinking story to be like, fuck yeah, you got fucking destroyed. Let's go, bro.
And I will also say, understand yourself. So like
Yes.
for the example of the story that Arthur's telling, like, you know, obviously this is not condensed into an hour, and then he's like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna drive home.
No.
It you know, it's over the course of multiple hours,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
know, filled in with a shit ton of water, maybe some food, you know, just making sure
Quite a bit of food, yes.
yeah, just making sure, like, okay, I am completely coherent and aware of what's going on around me.
Mhm.
And
in most cases, this is a family setting,
right,
private setting.
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely in a I do the same thing where it's like, oh yeah, I'll crack open a beer, maybe two, and then I'll just be like, all right, this is great, and, and then I'll just go home.
yeah, go home. I play Minecraft.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So on my 21st birthday, we go to Korean barbecue, and I will not name drop the place because it was shit. But have you ever been to Korean? Have you been to Korean barbecue, Zach?
I have not.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I feel like it might seem like a foreign idea of like you cook your own meat, but it's fun. It's all good, you know. And if we ever go, don't worry, I got you. It's all good. unless you want to cook it yours. I mean, it's not as crazy as you would think. It's just there's a stove in front of you and you just put meat on it, and then you're like, "Is that cooked? Yeah, that's cooked," and you just take it. I mean,
and then you eat it.
And then you eat it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're like, oh, you know, I want someone else to cook it, but it's like an experience, Zach. And you know, honestly, you don't even sometimes you don't even have to do it, depending on who the party or what party you're with. There's someone who wants to do it, so they got you, you know.
Yeah.
Usually that's the person who organizes it. So just the life hack is just never organize it. Just bring it up and say, hey, it would be cool. It'd be with your and make sure there's an Asian involved in this conversation. Hey, it'd be cool if we try Korean barbecue sometime.
And they'd be like, hell yeah, dude. I'm stoked.
I know 5 places, you know.
I know the guy who runs the place.
It'd be great. But yeah, it'd be a fun time. And this is the first time that I tried Sapporo, I think I mentioned before, which is a beer. And this is so beer is, I know we're tangenting all over the place, but you know, it's kind of fun to talk about this because I never really get to talk about it because like I said, I don't really talk about drinking or anything. You know, it's like, I don't know when I decided, yeah, okay, I can drink beer, you know, because beer is beer, you know?
Yeah.
It's piss water. It's gross. And it's like,
okay, I will defend good beers.
I will defend good beer. I'm getting to that as well.
Okay.
You know, like there's the Budweisers and the you know, the Bud Lights and stuff, and it's like, yeah, it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and the Heineken, you know, they exist, you know, and they're there, you know.
Right.
But I try Sapporo for the first time when I'm there because I see it right in the menu, and I've always heard of this because I'm a weep, Zach, you know? Of course. At first, I'm looking down the list of the drinks, and we're like, okay, we're going to buy a pint. What do you want, Arthur? You know, it's my 21st birthday. Go ahead and choose. I don't fucking know. I don't know these names. And I look around and I see Sapporo, and I'm like, oh, I remember seeing videos about this, you know, because I watched the Japanese videos because I'm a fucking weeb, Zach. And I'm like, let's try this. I'm going to get the Sapporo. And like, okay, yeah, sure. Can I get the Sapporo? And I'm like, all right, yeah, let's go. And then we get it, and it's, you know, it's in a pint, and we're, you know, my uncle, Uncle Gary, shout out, very, very great guy. I love him to death, and he was also he's the one who poured my first legal beer, and the one that poured me the drinks that got me to vomit. What a man that guy is! What a man. Anyways, so we're just having a time, and like he's just buying rounds back and forth, and I'm just throwing it. Okay, so throwing it back, not the right words. I'm just shoveling it down, right?
Right.
Or I don't know what's the word. Like, I'm just pumping down drinks left and right, like full glasses, right?
Yeah.
And I don't really know how many I'm down. I'm just drinking, you know, like it's water. Because I'm not a sipper, Zach. I can have a beer, but it's dangerous because my body doesn't really know to sip yet. So I just kind of drink like it's water.
It's interesting because I find myself kind of being in a similar way with like beers and those types of things. Like I would be surprised if a beer lasted longer than like 5 minutes with me, just because it's like I impulsively just like if I have, and that's with everything. Like if I'm drinking like an energy drink, for example, like you're already halfway through your G Fuel just because it's like force of habit.
You just kind of go for it because it doesn't taste bad.
Right.
When it's hard liquor, Zach, you take a sip, you're like, ooh, geez Louise. Oh my Lord. Yeah, I'll take a break after that one, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're drinking like soju and you're drinking like a good, okay, and then Sapporo, Zach, it tastes amazing. I've never felt this way about a beer in my life. Like I've never enjoyed drinking beer before. I felt pleasant drinking this beer. And it not because I was feeling loopy, but because it tasted great. Yeah. It's like, what? This isn't beer. This is crack. And so I was just hammering it down back to back. And it was a grand old time. And at the end of it, Zach, I was only just like minutely tipsy. You know, I mean, there's a lot of food, there's a lot of meat, you know, and there's a lot of soaking it all up. And I will say I took a lot of bathroom breaks. Yeah, a lot of and that bathroom breaks help. I don't have the greatest tips and tricks on drinking because I don't do it very often, and I also don't do it to get crazy drunk. But the one thing I found: eating food, drinking water, and peeing a lot. Yeah. Pee a lot. Peeing helped the most for me. Like, I don't know if it was just a direct and then right out, but just, I don't know, just removing some of the toxins that is alcohol in any way, shape, or form, right? Peeing helped a lot. And I took so many bathroom breaks in that Korean barbecue. No poops though. No poops. But, you know, a lot of peas. And that was good. And then we went home we went to my other uncle's house rather, and then just watched like some boxing and drank more, you know, took some shots. And then by the end of it, I was like, all right, go to work tomorrow morning. I gotta open. All good. And that I was fine. So to set the stage, I'm quite the heavy drinker. And that was my 21st.
I think you phrased it a little bit weird. You're quite the heavyweight.
I'm
drinker.
quite. Oh yeah, that's right. I would like to consider myself a heavyweight, and I think I can say that with confidence, being around those who I would classify as lightweight. Yeah. Who would get drunk after like maybe one or two, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? How old are you?
Where have you been? Like what?
I know. So that's that. So my next story, I know I've been kind of hogging the stage when it's your birthday, Zach.
It's so fun.
I just have to lead up to this valuable moment of mine last weekend.
To this fiasco.
Yeah. So now, not last weekend, but the weekend prior, I go to Pullman. Mm-hmm. Mentioned that before. I would go to Pullman, Washington State University, Pullman, for my cousin's graduation. It was a lot of fun. Well, it was interesting. You can watch the episode previously if you want to check it out. It was kind of pretty in the beginning-ish, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. But yeah, it was fun. You know, graduation stuff. Not necessarily grad parties, but I went to the casino, dinner, you know, stuff like that, right? So for dinner, it was attached to the casino, as we mentioned before, and it was like this, like it was called Pan East Asian. Fun restaurant, by the way. If you ever go there, shout out. And it's kind of like just a bunch of Asian dishes mixed together. Like it's a bunch of it's Japanese, Thai, Chinese, Korean, all in one restaurant. So it's a lot of fun. Although the menu is very small, but I mean, there's a bunch of all sorts of things and different types of foods, different types of drinks, and it's like, okay, cool, you know. And if you really want to have that experience, I saw in the back there was this area where you can like have the table on the ground and you sit on the pillows, Zach.
Oh my god!
I'm like, what? We should do that. That's cool. But unfortunately, it was taken up by a bunch of other people. So yeah, no, but I was like, wow, look at this is pretty cool. So we order a thing and we order it. So I don't know if this is a Laos thing or like a Southeast Asian thing. But sometimes if we go to a restaurant, we'll order multiple plates and treat it like it's a dim sum. Or I don't know if do you know what a dim sum is? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, we order different plates and it's like party platter. And we take from different plates. Like we don't have our own plates. We just order a shit ton and then we take from it and we share.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I love the idea of that.
I never really thought of it as weird until we did it at that restaurant, and it was definitely not supposed to be like that. And our table was like probably the size of one of these, and we're just like, yeah, this is fine. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun, good food, and we ended up for drinks. We bought sake because I don't know, we could have gotten beer, or we weren't really gonna drink. I don't know. I didn't really feel like the moment to drink. We were just kind of eating, and we're like, we're here, let's try something, and let's try sake, because most of the people on the table hadn't drank sake. I love sake. I've only had it a couple of times, but I really enjoyed it. Not because not just because I'm a weeb. That definitely helps.
That's just most of it.
But yeah, we tried it. We had 2 different ones. One was called Jotto Yuzu, which is like this kind of citrusy. I thought it was gonna be lemon, but it was more like a tangerine-ish, like an orange, and it tasted fantastic. So, have you ever had sake?
I have not yet.
Okay, it's interesting. It's pretty. I mean, it'll depend which ones you have, but it's kind of up there in the alcohol percentages, I would say. So it's not quite the the beer or anything. It's up there. So, and they serve it to you in like a thing, like a kind of not a pitcher, like it's like this little porcelain bottle, I guess, and then you would pour it and stuff into these little glasses. Not necessarily shot glasses. I guess you could shot it, or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I did, but it's just kind of these little tiny glasses, and you just kind of drink it. It's kind of cute, and it's fun. It's all the experience, it's whatever,
I'm basically in Japan.
I'm in Japan. It's great. While I'm eating my wonton noodles, it's great. And then we try that, and it's great. And then we go for another round, and I asked the server, do you have any recommendations? And she recommended this one, and she's like, this is going to be good. This one's pretty good, and I cannot remember what the name is. But it's like really cloudy because what sake is like fermented like rice kind of a thing. So it's very cloudy, and we're like, oh, this is interesting. And we give it a shot. God damn, Zach, this was just alcohol. Like we take a sip, and I was like, oh my goodness.
You're like, bro, this isn't a different punching class than like anything else.
Before, Zach, we were drinking orange juice. What the fuck is this? You should have known as a server that after ordering orange juice, basically, this was not here. This was not us.
Yeah.
Well, at least for the rest of the people. For me, I was like, all right, this is fun.
You're like, I bet
this is fun. Because I learned, Zach, that I don't mind the taste of alcohol. I mean, I'm not going to slam it back like, this is the most delicious shit ever in my life. Yeah. But I don't mind it. I'm okay with the taste of alcohol. And because of that, I think that's helped with me, get better at holding myself, not wanting, like, I get the taste of alcohol in my mouth and I get more drunk or whatever. I get more, like that. And yeah, I learned that, yeah, I'm cool. And I was the one who slammed most of it because nobody drank it. Even in the first sake that we had, I drank most of it. This one, I drank most of it. So, I was pretty well in, and I was fine. I was like, all right, cool. Go home. Well, we went to my cousin's dorm, and then we tried to sardine 5 people in a singular tiny room, and it was not very pretty. But we managed to work it out. It was fine. I had no blanket. I was cold. Well, I wasn't cold, but I woke up in the morning, and then it was cold. I was like, fuck. I can't go back to sleep. But yeah, it was cool. Now then, Zach, we bring you to last weekend. Last weekend. Oh boy, Zach. So, same cousin, another grad party. This time, obviously not in Pullman. This time here. This is a big family party. And as a big Asian family parties go, it's a fucking time. It is a time. There's food galore. It is like, you think of like Asian buffets. That's what it is. You think of like the Asian street parties, the garage is up. There's just loud music, and it's like, it's a time, Zach. There was a time, I don't think it happens nowadays because of the cabbage and stuff, and maybe not so much in your neighborhood. In my neighborhood, Zach, and in plenty other suburban neighborhoods where there happen to be 3 or 4 Asian families right next to each other, you walk down the street, at like, I don't know, for the 7-Eleven or whatever for a drink, and you're walking back up and it's like 10 p.m. and you hear traditional Asian music, and you're walking down and there's just the garage open and there's lights and people are playing poker and people are drinking and playing other various card games. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Zach, you invite yourself. You say, hey, what's happening? And they're like, oh, we're just having a time. You want to drink? We have Heineken, we have Budweiser, you know, and we have food. We have so much food inside. You want food? You have some food.
I'm just imagining like the plastic foldable tables.
Oh, the plastic tables, Zach, the plastic chairs, and they're ugly green, and they're the folding chairs.
Yeah.
And everybody is just like, oh man, it's a time, Zach. I miss those days. But yeah. Anyways, if some of you guys will know, you walk down the street and there's an Asian family, they're going to have those parties. It's going to be wild. Anyways, it's one of those, Zach. And I miss these because I don't go to them very often. So we're having a time, and, you know, the not necessarily the adults, but, you know, the older folk, they're kind of separated into their own parties. And then me and my age group, you know, like, we're separated in our own party. We're just kind of having a time, and we're drinking, and, you know, at this point I've had 3 beers. One was, I can't remember what it was. It was just some random beer. One was this lemony beer, which I've learned that I honestly don't really like lemon beer very much. I like lemon things, and I like lemon, like soju and stuff, and lemon other alcohols, but lemon beer is interesting. I don't know. And then I tried this Heineken that was already open because it was just sitting in the cooler and it was open. I'm like, why is this open? I am concerned.
And so your first instinct is, I'm going to drink that.
I'm going to drink it.
Yeah.
Well, because it was full, but in my mind, I was like, someone opened this and for some reason put that shit back in. I'm like, oh.
They were like, I really want a Heineken. They crack it. I really don't want a Heineken. They put it back.
Fair. That's a fair form of thinking, Zach. But I was like, okay, you know, I don't know. I feel it shouldn't be in here. It's gonna make a mess. I'm just gonna drink. Nobody probably drank out of it. Just take it, whatever. It's all good. So at this point, I'm 3 in, and it's beer. It's fine. It's whatever. I've drank beer plenty of times, and I'm doing some shots with vodka with my friends, you know, and it's fine. And then we're towards the end of the night, and at this point, Zach, we're just hanging out, and I haven't eaten very much.
That's a mistake.
And I haven't drank a lot of water. I've probably had like maybe 1 or 2 of the little tiny shitters, little tiny shitter water bottles. And I had about like maybe 1.5 plate of some nice Asian food. And I'm like, I'm kind of hungry, but we're just kind of chilling. We're talking, you know, and where we're situated, we're kind of far away from the kitchen to get food. So I'm just like, I'll get some food in a bit, you know. And I was planning to get more food because I wasn't even planning to drink anymore. And then my Uncle Gary comes along. He's like, how you doing, Arthur? He's all right. I'm like, yeah, I'm good, I think. I'm chilling, you know. Had a couple drinks, had a couple shots. I'm having a time, you know. We're just kind of chilling. We're listening to Kendrick Lamar's new album, you know. We're just in there's a fire pit. We're having a fire. It's a time, you know. We're having a time, you know. And it's not just, you know, we're not really, at this point, none of us are drinking. Because we would get up to do shots over in where the adults are. You know, we're a bit situated further out. So we're just hanging out. Me, my cousins of age, underage, you know, we're just talking and talking about like, you know, life and anime and shit. You know, it's the time.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact, it's great, you know. And then he's like, "Are you drunk?" And I'm like, "Not really." He's like, "But you've been drinking." I'm like, "Yeah, but you know, I don't get drunk." And I think those were the words that were the climax of which then we reached the falling action of the act of the night. Because I should not have said those words.
You shouldn't have said that.
I don't get drunk. Because it's true.
Right.
At least to this point. I've drank in a lot. More than I'd like to admit. And more than I'd like to admit, and I decided I'm just going to drive back home. Again, please do not do as we say, not as we do in these situations. And in these situations, look, you have fun and it's all good. Family settings are the best place to have some fun.
Yeah.
Family settings are the best place to try your limits. Especially if you're not the one who drove, your parents drove, your relatives drove. Family, if you want to test yourself, it needs to be at a family setting.
I have a story to tell after this one.
Yes. Good.
I have a good one.
Yes. And it's because of that, I'm like, and I'm not driving. My parents are driving. And if my parents get destroyed, Alvin can drive now. Yeah. You know? My brother Alvin. So it's just like, you know what? I'm 22, Zach. I have not even tried to get destroyed yet. If I want to do it, let's have some fun with some family, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's have some fun. And so he goes back and makes some sort of random concoction And Zach, this is when I learned that I've tried so many different drinks at this point, all of which I don't even know the name of, but I have learned that my weakness is whiskey.
Yes.
Whiskey is tough. I've tried the strongest sake. I've tried the hard. I mean, Hennessy is technically whiskey, but I can do Hennessy. But something about Jack killed me.
Mm-hmm.
And he mixed it with some Coke, and he put it in a cup, and he's like, "Here, take this. I'll be back." And I take it, and I didn't even know what it was at first, and I fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, god damn it. And I'm like, all right, it's all good. And it's about like halfway-ish full, and I'd say it's probably maybe 50-50.
Okay.
Not bad,
Yeah.
And I'm just sipping, and I'm having a time. Okay, not bad. I have whiskey downstairs. Sometimes if I'm feeling like I want to, I'll do this too as well,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have whiskey and some Coke, whatever, if I'm really, maybe, I don't know, I want to sleep or something like that. I don't fucking know.
Feeling frisky.
Feeling a little frisky while I'm playing Minecraft,
With the boys.
With the boys, We're about to fight this Ender Dragon. Let me pour myself a little wine on.
Okay. Random tangent. I promise it'll be quick.
Yeah.
I think we need to do a Minecraft speed run
Where we're just plastered.
Yes.
That would be so funny.
That would be
Oh,
so
man.
funny.
I would love to.
Obviously, everyone is of legal age.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
Involved in
Most of the
everything like
gang is of legal age at this point.
that. Okay. Yeah.
Of your area and of mine as well. Sorry, of your side of the friends and my side of the friends as well.
Yeah.
We're all of age.
Fuck it.
Mostly.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, I'm down. Okay, so anyways. So I finished my first one and I'm like, that wasn't bad. I'm fine. And he comes back, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." Also the cup kind of leaked. It was a paper cup and it like spilled everywhere and I've shit everywhere. I'm like, okay. So he comes back with a solo cup and said with another one. Take a sniff. Oh shit, this one's stronger. I'm like, okay, sure. And this one takes me a little bit longer. And part of it is, at this point I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting there. I'm definitely past tipsy a little bit.
Yeah.
Because whiskey is tough. But also, we're still hanging out, and I'm just talking and we're chatting. We're talking about Genshin and stuff like that. And we're in anime and things. And I don't know, we're just, and he comes back, "You finish it?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't finish it yet. My bad." And he's like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to finish it. Come on, how are you going to get drunk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I do the one of the probably the biggest mistakes of the night.
You pounded it.
I pounded it.
Yup.
Yeah. I go. Go. And at that point, I was like, I'm fine. Because I feel fine. And I even do a test. I stand up and I do the what is it, the line walk and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm fine. And then it takes me a bit. And I'm like, oh.
It's scary when you realize the consequences of your actions.
Yeah.
After the fact. Because, like...
yeah.
A lot of times it's like you're like, yeah, we're having a grand old time, and then you're like, yep, I'm right in the pocket, I'm right where I need to be, and then the 2 shots that you took about 15 minutes ago decide to smack you in the face.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
look at this foreshadowing. I didn't even take Honors English 2 for this one. Oh my lord. So he comes back with his third one, and this one is way stronger. And I'm like, oh boy. And I'm sipping, and I'm not even halfway. And I'm like, all right, I'm there. I'm there. I mean, I feel, okay, it's weird because I'm definitely there at this point, right?
Yeah.
But I feel fully functional. Like I'm thinking, I'm talking. I mean, I'm a little looser, but in general, I don't feel like I don't know what's maybe I've seen before, like my friends are like, "Oh, yeah, it goes good. Arthur, you are there." Yeah. I'm just like, we're still talking. I'm still, I'm chatting and I'm having a time. I don't know. I felt completely sane.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was thinking. Like I'm thinking, so I think I'm okay. So I continue drinking, and it's weird because at this point, this is where things took a toll. Because I'm just talking and like, "You good, Arthur?" "Yeah, I'm good."
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Onto my stuff while I'm sitting down.
Fuck.
Yeah. And then I get up, and at this point I hadn't gotten up in a while, and I stumble, and I fall into the yard, and I proceed to continue letting it out.
Yeah. Poor guy.
I know.
I mean, I guess the kind of hard thing is that you have to learn that lesson the hard way.
I know.
And like a lot of times there will be those people who are like, yeah, I got a super high tolerance to alcohol, bro.
Mhm.
No, you have a high tolerance to the alcohol that we've given you in the past.
Yeah.
And we just haven't found that thing that
Mhm.
just destroys your life.
Yeah.
And I love whiskey. I love rum.
Oh yeah,
I love,
whiskey's great. I'm not saying I don't like it.
right. It's just very very lethal,
Yeah.
And so like I've had a similar thing happen.
Mhm. I do want to say I have a concluding story.
Okay.
All right. So the weirdest part of this. So some might be saying, "Really, Arthur? 3 cups?" Okay, these cups were escalating in purity. Okay. Or rather not escalating in purity, but de-escalating in purity. And escalating more in the devil. But
more in death.
but also, like I said, I set myself up to fail. I barely drank any water. I had only taken like 1 bathroom break. And this was even before I even drank. And I only had about 1 plate of food.
Right.
And this was in the beginning of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at the night at this point. I was not really prepared to have anything soak any alcohol in my stomach,
Yeah.
I was not ready. And this is not me throwing excuses. I'm just saying I was not really prepared for what was about to happen. I had 3 beers before. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong about this, but maybe perhaps mixing white and dark drinks was not a good idea. Because I had mentioned before that I had taken a couple shots of vodka.
So I have a rule.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a saying that goes along with it, with like mixing like beer and hard alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of similar with light and dark alcohols. Like, if you're drinking tequila,
Mm-hmm.
drink vodka, drink gin if you're a masochist. But there's a saying that goes like this. It goes,
Mm-hmm.
liquor before beer and you're in the clear, but beer before liquor and you'll never be sicker.
Yeah.
And it works. I mean, I've followed that ideology to a T, and it hasn't led me astray as of yet.
You're right, because if it's more of a pacing thing, because it's like if you start with beer, you're essentially pre-gaming yourself to the hard part.
Yeah.
But if you start with the hard part, then you're mellowing yourself out.
Yeah.
Plateauing yourself with the beer, because the beer is not that bad.
Yeah, and also another thing too is it helps kind of like push it through the system a little bit faster. At least from my personal experience. And there have been plenty of occasions where it's interesting because I don't know how to explain it other than like there's a different type of drunk depending on what you're drinking. Like
yes.
Beer drunk is entirely different from like whiskey drunk.
Oh yeah.
And whiskey drunk is entirely different from like wine drunk per se. And so when you kind of have an idea of like what is going to kill you, that definitely helps you have a better understanding of like what to do with your life. And when I was on vacation, this was like right after I turned 21, I went to Florida to go to Disney World.
Okay.
And we spent a week over there. And so I was freshly 21 at this point. I think it was like a couple weeks after my birthday. No, it was a couple days after my birthday, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because I bought my first drink. It was like a Seagram's hard something or other. It was basically orange juice, but
right.
it was
a cider.
Yeah, it was like a hard cider type thing.
Which, by the way, For those who slander the cider, fuck you. I love cider. Cider is great.
Bro, I live by hard ciders.
Oh,
Like,
hard ciders are so nice. I love them.
it's like for you to just have something that isn't going to put you on your ass, but you can put a couple down and you're just like having a grand old time. It's just like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I've found myself kind of like exploring more. Like I've found, and my parents are so funny. They're like, oh yeah, if you're a whiskey guy, like I stayed at the house and watched the animals while they went out of town. They were out of town for like a week, and they bought me a bottle of Canadian whiskey to pay me back. And Jackson and I made old fashions with them. It was really great. Another poor life choice, but it's like once, like, the more you learn about it, the more that you can kind of know what you're getting yourself into before you get there. And that's especially important when you're like out at a bar or something like that. And like Jackson and I, right after he turned 21, because he's a little bit younger than me, we would go to a bar over in downtown and just kind of have a couple beers and play some pool. And we brought one of our other buddies over there, and we were just playing pool, having a grand old time. I didn't drive. I didn't give a shit. And so I was like, I ordered a beer, and I was like, fuck it. I'm going to have a Jack and Coke. 3 Jack and Cokes later, somehow winning in pool.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting because I kind of knew where my stopping point was, and I kind of did what you were saying, like, ramp up with the beer, level off, or like drink what you're gonna drink, taper off with another beer. And that's kind of what I did. And at the end of the night, it was a lot of fun. It hurt my wallet. But it's like, it's funny that I just heard bottles clanging in the background.
Very very timely.
Yeah.
No one heard it though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's super interesting. Like, once you kind of figure that out, it's like, oh, okay, so I know what to avoid. I know what I can sip on and be all right. I know what I can drink with a purpose and be all right. There was one night where it was Jackson, Andy, Alex, and I.
Okay.
And we just went to a bowling alley and we were like, fuck it, let's go bowling. Alex drove and he was totally fine with being like a DD. And, he was just like, yeah, you guys have a good time. And so we ordered a pitcher of beer just because we were like, yeah, this will be fun. And the beer was really good. I don't remember what kind of beer it was, but it was super good.
Okay.
And between the 3 of us, that pitcher went by real quick.
Right.
And, Andy was like, yeah, I'll buy the first pitcher, whatever, it's fine. And then I was like, fuck it, let's get another pitcher. And then Jackson was like, later on in the night, Jackson was like, fuck it, let's have another pitcher.
Yeah.
And, the 3 of us each drank pretty much a pitcher apiece of beer. And we were just bowling, having a grand old time.
Yeah.
Jackson somehow managed to get his ball in the other lane.
Nice.
And it was just like, it was unhinged chaos, but it was also a lot of fun at the same time. I feel bad for anyone who was around us because we were just being goofy, but like not a nuisance. We were just having fun. Right. And it wasn't like, blabbering incoherence where it was just like we were a nuisance to be around. It was just, we were having a great time.
Yeah.
And
the difference with being like having a party that's having fun and a party that's being annoying, Yeah. Like as long as it's self-contained and you're not outwardly admitting negative energy or admitting energy that doesn't need to be in the environment, it's all good. It's whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that night it was pretty apparent that we were having a grand old time. Right. And every single time our ball would go into the other lane, I would sit there and profusely apologize to the people who were next to us. I'm like, I am so sorry. Like, I don't even know how he keeps doing this at this point. I feel like he should get an award for how many times he has gotten someone else a strike and not him.
Nice. It's pretty good, actually.
Pretty good statistically, actually. But yeah, it was like one of the most fun drinking outings I've had.
That's good.
Outside of vacation. I was talking about the Disney trip and then I got distracted. But on that Disney trip, we would go to a couple different bars, and there was like a little margarita stand outside the hotel. And they had a pool. And so pretty much every night consistently, I would go out and get margaritas with my brother and my friend who I had brought, and the friend that he had brought, all of which of age, by the way. We would just have margaritas, sit at the pool, flirt with a girl or two, whatever.
Let's go. W.
Dubs.
W.
But yeah, it never really got out of hand. And I think that that's the important thing, is that, every single time I'm out in public around other people who do not know me, I try to be good and play nice, I mean, you've seen, that person who isn't even caring, and is being annoying to the people around them, and you're just kind of like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to get to a point where I'm like that. And if I am at a point, I want to try my best not to be like that, because that's just not fun for anybody, Right.
Not fun for them. Probably honestly not even fun for their friends. They're like, I'm so sorry, my friend is a fucking idiot,
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy. So part of it is still like, as long as I can keep my sanity in check so that I don't be like that, then I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people where I'm always like doing like a welfare check for everyone that I'm around. And it kind of is like, I accidentally take on like the caretaker role no matter how hammered I am. Like if someone is like about to throw up, like I'm the first person to, stumble my tipsy ass over to like grab a trash bag and like, grab towels, whatever's needed. Because that's just kind of like how I've always been, regardless of how much alcohol is in my system.
Yes, right.
And so yeah, it's like I've never really felt the urge to just be an asshole and just cause shenanigans, like too much shenanigans.
Right. Yeah.
There's always that fine line of like, how annoying can I be before I'm a nuisance? And I think that that's kind of like that fine line that I've found, or at least that I've been getting closer to finding.
Right.
Is just like not being an asshole, but also being able to have a grand old time at the same time.
I'd say that's good. That's good. Yeah. I just long to not be that guy. That's the one thing. And so far, I think based on my actions as finally getting to that point, I think I was on the chill side, I mean, I was chatting up and stuff, but I was more just on the chair like, yeah, I don't want to move. I don't want to get up. I don't want to dance. I just want to sit here and not do anything.
You didn't get the spins, did you?
I didn't really. No, I didn't actually. I was not very dizzy. Like I said, I was like, fine. Well, I mean, at that point, yeah, I was definitely wobbly.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a headache. I wasn't dizzy or anything. I was just kind of fine. I was talking and we were just talking about shit and it was fine.
And then your stomach was like,
and then my stomach,
Uno reverse card.
Yeah, it really felt like I probably can do more, but my stomach was just not prepared. So it just kind of, it just needed to exit what it wasn't able to process. Right.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay. And unfortunately it was like, you're not going to be able to get up. You're going to do it right now. I'm like, oh, really? Yes, really. Okay. Yeah. Like I felt like, okay, if I was going to vomit, please don't let it be on myself. That'd be just a bad look. And it was a bad look. It was bad, and it happened. And as it happened, it was cool, and Cameron was there and, he spotted me. It was all good. He gave me a sweatshirt to wear. And then we all went upstairs and just kind of hung out, and chilled out for a bit. I just laid on the couch. I was like, fuck, man. And I went back to the bathroom and let some more out. And it was just not, it wasn't very pretty, And it was thanks to that where I was like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to. I mean, I would love to drink, but I just, like, I don't know. The idea of, like, getting blacked out drunk or vomiting everywhere. Like, wow, what is, Is that really the experience that I want when I'm going out? And it scares me because I'm there with, like, my younger cousins and stuff. And, It scares me to think that what if they end up in a situation where they're not at a family place, you know, and they end up like me. I don't like imagine being in a situation like me where I'm like vomiting and I can't think and I'm like, you know, and I mean I'm not really drunk, but I'm just like I'm vulnerable and I look like an idiot, you know.
You're drunk.
I'm drunk. Well, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm definitely drunk and I'm not. I'm you know I look like an idiot and I'm vomiting everywhere. I'm vomiting on myself and I'm not home.
Yeah.
Imagine that'd be so scary. So if at the very least, if I had to make myself look like an idiot, hopefully, and in front of my younger cousins, hopefully that can be just like a visual lesson where like, this is what you would look like if you went as far as I did and did not prepare as well as I did. And, you know, at the very least, I was somewhere where I knew where I was. If I was somewhere I didn't know, that would have been so scary. And especially, you know, for my younger cousins who are females and stuff, you know, like, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Scary, very scary things. We all know the thing. We all know the stories and the tales and the horror stories. It's very bad. So hopefully seeing me look like an idiot, throwing up on myself and on the ground and stuff and be like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. You know? Yeah. They're like, all right. We're not going to do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah. That was a very bad example. Hopefully I could have been, hopefully I was a bad example that you needed to see.
Yeah. And also another thing too is that, you know, shit happens. Like you underestimate how strong the drinks were, or you didn't eat as much as you thought you did. And, you know, like shit like that happens. And like, there's a nuanced way to go about that type of situation.
Right.
I would say more so for like the people around you than like you yourself, because obviously you're in self-preservation mode. You're like, fuck, dude.
Yeah,
like
right.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I need to fucking clean my shirt and you know, put on different pants.
Yeah. Pants was fine though. Pants was fine. Just had to throw out my sweatshirt. My sweatshirt caught most of it. I was able to get it out of my shirt, my t-shirt underneath. But yeah.
Like, you know, if let's say you and I were drinking together, right? And you got like absolutely sloshed and you know, you were like saying like, oh man, I feel like I'm going to throw up and like all this kind of stuff. Like the last thing I would want you to do is feel like you couldn't rely on me to help you out. And I guess that's just kind of how I am. Like I've always been that way in pretty much any situation. Like, hey, if you need something, let me know. Cause I've always been like the host for things.
Yeah.
You know, I've always had like parties hosted at my house. I've always kind of been like in that environment where I'm taking on like a caretaker type role.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, if you need water, let me know. I'll grab you water. If you need food, I'll give you snacks. You know, it's just like,
yeah, no, I definitely should have. Well, part of it was like, you know, it was my first time getting that drunk. So I was just like, I didn't really know if I was, I mean, you know, to my credit, I didn't think I was going to throw up. At the very least, I was expected to get plastered and maybe like blackout. Throwing up was not in the cards, I got to say.
But it did make you feel better though, right?
Oh, it made me feel a lot. Well, I mean, I guess in the moment, but because I didn't feel like shit when I was drunk. It was just, I just ended up throwing up. Like I didn't even feel bad. I felt bad afterwards.
Oh, okay.
So afterwards, and at that point, after we went back upstairs and we just hung out for a bit, and I let some more out and I went back. At that point, that's when I don't remember leaving. But I think it was more just I was tired at that point, because I was about to pass out, you know. But I mean, I kind of remember going back home, but I don't even remember being called to go downstairs or anything. We just kind of left, and then I went home, and then I went upstairs in my room, and I passed the fuck out.
That's the way to do it right there.
Yeah, I just conked, and I woke up in like 5 a.m. I had to work. Not in the morning, but I woke up at 5 and I work at 11.
Okay.
And I felt like garbage. Like I've been sick before, but this I felt like something I'd never felt before.
Yeah.
You know? And it wasn't a headache. I didn't have a hungover headache. I just felt nauseous and I needed to throw up, but I couldn't. But my body, like I could not physically make myself vomit. Like I tried, I went to the bathroom and I was like, oh God, you know, and I went downstairs and I tried to eat food. That didn't help. That was a terrible idea. I tried to drink water. My body just couldn't even, like, it didn't even want to drink water. You know, it didn't want anything more into my stomach. It needed to exit.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to take a shit. That didn't work. Yeah. So I was awake. So like, well, I'm awake and I feel like garbage. So I'm just going to do stuff. Laundry, washed my shirt, washed the sweatshirt that Cameron gave me, washed my bed sheets and stuff because I fell asleep like that. You know, brushed my teeth to get the smell, to get the taste of alcohol out. I tried my best, but no, it wasn't necessarily me vomiting or anything like that from before. It was this feeling right now that I was feeling right, the morning after, which told me I don't want to do this ever again.
Yeah.
This feels horrible. This is not worth it.
Yeah. And, like most things, there's that fine line of like going too far.
Yes.
And, I am well aware of like the consequences of my actions. And it's just like, it's fine. Like, if I get a little hungover because, I might have had a couple too many,
sure.
Like that's an entirely different thing. But if it's just like a full body, like just feel like shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's at that point, it's not worth doing. And like, I haven't gotten to that point really intentionally. And I guess I kind of have a bad habit of being a yes man where it's like, oh, do you want another shot? Fuck yeah, dude.
Me as well.
Yeah. Like just kind of like learning where my limitations are. It's like, okay, how shitty do I want to feel tomorrow morning when I have to wake up for work?
Yeah.
And that's just, it sucks that the consequences of your actions are just so late after the fact where it's like, I was having a great time until I didn't.
Until I wasn't having a good time. And then that's when everything went downhill. Yeah. If there's a lesson to be said, then it's just, know yourself, know your limits. We said that before. Same thing with gambling, same thing with alcohol. Know yourself, know your limits. And if you have to figure out your limits, because you never know it until you never know your limit until you hit it, do it in a family setting.
Yeah. Or if not in a family setting, I would say do it with people who
you're comfortable with.
You're comfortable with
your friends
and your trust. You can trust them with like,
nurturing you in the worst scenario. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was, I had a time. It's all good. My only regret, Zach, is that I wanted to eat more food because that food was good. That was my only regret.
You're like, bro, I missed out on such good food.
I know. It was so good. We had a bunch of different Asian food. We had Laos food, Thai food, Chinese food, American food. We got smoked salmon, ribs. Oh my God. I didn't get to eat any of it. I ate before they even finished the barbecue. So I was just like, it was so good food, but I was like, man, I wanted to eat more.
Right.
Yeah. They had some chips and salsa. That shit was smacking. Oh my God. It was such a good time, but I wanted to eat more. That's my only regret, Zach. Vomiting on my sweatshirt, having to throw it away. No. It was me not being able to eat more because it was some good food.
That's fair. Yeah. I've definitely been in those situations where it's like, fuck, man, I wish I could have at least eaten.
Yeah.
Like,
not only would it have helped my stomach better, but it would have tasted good too.
Yeah. It would have been a good idea just all around, no matter what.
And I didn't. I should have. But no, I should have relied on others. I should have asked, hey, can you give me some food? I should have relied on others, but it didn't really occur to me. It wasn't that I didn't want to. I didn't really think to do it. But first time for everything. I'm never really in a situation like that before. So I was like, yeah, now I know. And I'll follow by your rules. Well, I learned a lot, and I was talking with my other friends and my online friends who drink more, and like they're giving me tips on, drink warm water to get the hangover over, or drink ice water if you want to throw up. I'm like, oh, I never even heard of that before, other things, various things, making myself feel better. So I was like, like it's definitely an experience thing, you got to do it more often, not necessarily get like destroyed more often, but just be in the situation more often.
Yeah.
And you've kind of figure out along the way, you'll figure out, trial and error rather, right?
Yeah.
This didn't work. I forgot to do this. I forgot to eat. I didn't go to the bathroom very much. I didn't drink a lot of water. These things, they add up and they help out in the situation. So honestly, I feel like if I was in that situation again, I would have probably slammed those drinks first and then finished with beer, ate a lot of food, and then we would have been chilling.
I guess like the timing of everything is also really important because if you just drink a shit ton of alcohol and then stuff your face with food, it's coming right back up.
Oh yeah.
So like, you know, eat a little, drink a little, eat a little, drink a little, and you know that can vary for each person. It's
right.
Like most things, but yeah, I think for me, like I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert because I'm not. I've just been in that situation.
Compared to me, I would say so. I'm like a baby. I don't know anything about drinking, Zach.
Yeah,
like at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm not like a drunk connoisseur where like I know all the tips and tricks to make it so that you have a great time. But you know, from my own experience and the experience that I've had as like a spectator to these types of things as well, it's like, you know, there are a lot of things that you can do to kind of for self-preservation, I guess. And being around people who know, and like that's how it is with everything, you know, like that's how it was for me for like, you know, smoking weed and like those types of things,
right?
Which is legal in the state that we live in. So it's like, meh. The first time that anyone around me smokes weed or, you know, drinks alcohol or anything like that, like I said before, I kind of take on like that caretaker personality.
Right.
Because like I've been in a situation where I felt like shit. I was throwing up and no one cared.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, I wasn't at home. I wasn't anywhere where I felt even remotely comfortable. I just felt like shit and I felt like an asshole.
Yeah.
And so I guess I've made it like a personal goal for me to make sure that no one that I'm around has to deal with that feeling, like that feeling of guilt and like you just feel like a shitty person because you feel like you're ruining the party and all this kind of stuff. But in reality, you're just like, I think I sent her a little too fucking hard there, bud. You know, and that's all it is. If it's for the sake of just fun and recreation and everything like that, you know, if you're just hanging with the boys and you end up having a few too many Jack and Cokes, like that's fine. That's okay. And it's the same thing with, you know, weed in legal states and you know, everything like that. I guess I just hold a lot of value in like taking care of people, you know, and making sure everyone's good, making sure everyone's having a grand old time. If you're not having a good time, if there's something that, you know, you want to drink, whether it's alcohol or not, you know, let me know. Like, I would much rather be the front man of like, hey, where's the water?
Yeah.
You know, and instead of someone who can barely stand on their own, or like, you know, they got a case of the spins and they're just feeling really nauseous. Been there, done that, got the postcard. It's not fun. But yeah, I think with, especially with drinking, because it's one of those things that has become so socially integrated into the party scene and everything like that. You know, just kind of having that person that you can lean on, and not necessarily to like take care of you and wipe your ass when you're sitting there hammered, but like that person that you can go to if you're like, hey man, I'm not really feeling too good, or like, hey, I'm ready to leave. Like having that buddy where you're just like, I don't want to be here anymore, and then that person can be like, all right, let's dip, and then you can have an out in that situation.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
you know?
Being in the situations where you're just you're with a party who wants to stay there, or you're with a party that, I mean, if they want to all stay there and they're all having a good time, it's fine. But maybe you just let them know, hey, I'm gonna sit out for a bit. You know, y'all can keep going. I'm gonna sit out. You know,
yeah, or like even just something as simple as, hey, I'm gonna go outside, get some fresh air, just so that somebody knows where you're at too.
Yeah,
because a drunk lost person is not a fun time. That is not a goose chase that I want to go on again, because I've been on both sides of that, and it is fucking crazy.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah. You live and you learn. I learned my lesson. It's all good. I'll continue doing. I mean, I don't drink very often, so I try to have fun whenever I can. I don't really go out. Leave my house dark. So, you know, I try to have stuff. I've tried to have stuff fun when I can. So I don't regret it. I don't regret, you know, getting throw up drunk. I mean, I wish I dialed it back a little bit, but you know, anyway, in the situation, it was just like, Arthur, you're gonna drink until you black out or throw up. That was the situation, and it wasn't for malicious intent. It was because we're having a good time. We're all family, and I've never done it before. Right. So we're gonna do it. I'm gonna either pass out or vomit, and then that's it. Now next time we're done. We're chilling.
Right, and I think the important thing to kind of remember is that like you were a willing participant.
Oh yeah, I was consenting. This was consented. I was fine.
Yeah.
This is okay.
Yeah. Like you were a willing participant on a roller coaster that you had no control over.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, I'm just gonna throw my hands up and whatever happens, fuck it, you know?
Yeah.
And those times are fun because, I mean, you know, I've been on both sides of it. With different things. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's really not.
Yeah.
And you know, just like or it's like a friendly competition between you and somebody else, like who's gonna black out first, or
right.
And you know, like that's a once in a blue moon, like fuck it, dude, let's just see what happens. Like we're at my house, you know, we have a bottle of Canadian whiskey, a freaking liter, you know, and it's just like fuck it, man, let's
just have a time.
Yeah. And it's all for the sake of fun. And I think that that's a really, really important thing that I want to drive home is like, we're talking recreational just for shits and giggles. Like that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. And alcohol, like a lot of things, is it can be dangerous. It can be addictive. It can, you know, it can really mess with your life and your mind and everything like that. And so, you know, we sit here and tell stories about us just fucking around and having a grand old time. But, you know,
it's not something you should sought after. It's something that should happen because while you're there. Like, it's something that, like, I don't know. I personally can't really fathom the idea of just waking up. Tonight, I'm going to get fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
For me, it's more like I'm there and I happen to be there. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go out. Let's have some fun. We have some fun. And then I happen to get destroyed. And remember, like we said the previous episode, Zach, the F word, Zach, it's fun, not forced, you know?
Yeah.
It's fun, not Fortnite, you know? You got to have some fun.
It's Fortnite, not fun.
Well, but Fortnite, okay.
I don't know. I just kind of started saying shit at that point.
It is early in the well, not anymore. It's early in the morning for me. You woke up even earlier than I did. So yeah. But yeah, make sure that you're having it's fun. It's, you know, fun, not forced, right?
Yeah.
You never want to be in a situation where it's like you can't say no. And even if you are a yes man, you should, and I am as well, you should still be able to say no.
Right.
You know, same thing. Gambling, like we said in the previous episode, alcohol. Got the alcohol. Got the alcohol, Alka Patron here.
Yeah.
You know, there's no harm in having fun, but there is a harm in forcing yourself to have fun because you're not having fun. You just want to look like you're having fun, so you're not killing the mood or whatever, killing the atmosphere. And if you really think you're killing the atmosphere, then go outside and let them kill the atmosphere themselves.
Yeah.
You know, by vomiting all over the couch and stuff while you take a fresh air, take a breath of fresh air, and you're like, whoo, yeah, that's it for me.
Yep.
Whoo. Yeah.
Poor life choices.
Poor life choices.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you know.
No, the poor life choice was not. The poor life choice would have been you stay inside.
Yeah.
That would have been the poor life choice. For you, if you go outside, you take a seat, or you sit on the couch, preferably not where there's other people vomiting or having sex or whatever the fuck, happens in your parties. You're like,
I got my home base and I'm content.
I am here. I'm not going to move. I have a jug of water. Maybe not a jug of water, liter of water. I got a fucking barrel. I'm going to down it. I'm going to get up to use the bathroom.
I got saltines.
I'm going to sit here. I'm just going to.
and try not to fall asleep.
Yeah, but just if you could figure that out, then you can have a time. If you can't figure that out yet, please figure it out, because you never know. When you're drunk, if you get to a point where you can't think, then it doesn't matter if you know or you don't know.
Yeah,
so you have to figure it out so your body can figure it out itself, because you're not going to be able to tell your body to figure it out.
Right.
Your body needs to figure it out.
I think figuring out what your limitations are is really, really, really important, especially when you're going from not drinking at all ever to being at a bar with a bunch of people, taking shots, doing all that kind of stuff. That is where the worst shit can happen, because you're going from 0 to 100 and you have no gauge of where that's going to take you. And so, we've been sitting here talking about like basically us getting too hammered, but like the funny stories of us of people drinking are when shit goes sideways.
Yes.
And it's funny because it's like I've been there, but like in order for you to be able to have fun, in order for you to be able to enjoy yourself the right way, you've pre-gamed the pre-game. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like you know how much you can drink and still be able to play pool, go bowling, go swimming, whatever. You've found that baseline where it's like, if I'm going out to have drinks, I know with 100% certainty that I can drink this much. So let's say 3 beers. Let's say that's like your casual limit. 3 beers. That's how many beers I can have in like 2 hours and be super chill, totally fine. If I needed to drive somebody home, if worse comes to worse, then I can do that. Figuring out what that is so important, especially when you're around a bunch of other people who have never like gotten hammered or like, gone out drinking before. Because like, well, at least for me, like I said a number of times already, like I've always kind of been the Sherpa when it comes to like that kind of stuff, because like I've never been the party type, but I've been to a lot of parties.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. I'm the same. I've been to quite a few parties, but I'm not necessarily the guy who's going to go on the dance floor or the guy who's going to talk up all the girls, or the guy who's, people keep looking back at because like, that guy okay?
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting because I'm like super antisocial until I'm in a social situation, and then I'm just like, I'm here, might as well, and yeah, that it's just really important to kind of figure out where your baseline's at, and you can push it if you want to, but like, don't go from having had 1 beer in your entire life to taking shots of vodka and playing beer pong and well, I mean, beer pong is really fun.
Yeah. Well, at least figure yourself out first before you go for it.
Yeah.
You have your first, you take your first shot of your life, and you're like, "Ooh, I felt a little fun." And then you go play like beer pong or some shit, or you play some random drinking games, and you're like, "Okay, maybe dial it back."
Yeah.
Maybe after like the 3rd party, maybe just watch for now. Watch with your beer, figure it out.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I'm not saying that there's like a 12-step program to like become like being able to do it. Like this could even be throughout the same night, even.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, giving yourself enough time to be able to like feel it, gauge where you're at, and then be able to like make that decision. Like, can I have another shot? Can I have another beer? Like, would it be a bad idea for me to have another drink? Just kind of like being able to gauge that even throughout the night, like having that check-in where it's like, oh yeah, so this is how much I've had to drink, or I don't know how much I've had to drink, but this is kind of how I'm feeling right now. What's the plan?
Right. Well, when it's your first time, you don't really know,
Yeah.
So it really is helpful to be around people that will know for you and will make those decisions, or will help you with those decisions, rather. I mean, maybe make those decisions. If they can make those decisions for you, then they've been down this rodeo before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, being that guy who's like, bro, simmer down.
you're done for.
Yeah.
You take a seat.
Like,
I can. You're like, bro, I don't even know what the fuck you just said. You're gonna sit down.
I feel like I have cut more people off at bars than I have ever been. I've never been cut off at a bar. Just because it's just like, whatever. That's kind of a decision that I made on my own. But other people, it's like, he's cut off. Get him a gin and tonic, Sprite. Get him a glass of water, please.
Yeah.
A water, a Sprite,
animal crackers, whatever the fuck y'all got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot, but hey, I'm glad I learned it. I'm glad I learned my lesson, you know?
Yeah.
I'm glad. And now that I've done it, I can have a time. I can have a time, but
yeah, you found where your comfort zone is, and you found where like your limitation is, and so now you could just kind of play around in the middle.
Yeah, I get to just fuck around, have a time. It's all good. I just want to eat the food, Zach. I'm just so pissed about that. I'm so upset. And I went back home and I looked in the fridge, and they didn't take any leftovers.
This is blasphemy.
This is fucked. I'm gonna drive back.
Hey yo, you got any Tupperwares?
y'all got the Tupperwares. I'll bring my own Tupperwares if we need to, you know. But
bro,
okay.
I got those glass ones that have like the ceiling lid and shit.
We do have the glass one. Yeah, we got all the types. I'll just bring a plate. I'll not even take some home. I'll just eat it on my way. I don't know, man. I was just upset. I want to eat some more. I just want to eat more of that food, man.
That's so funny.
I didn't even get to try the smoked salmon.
That's so sad.
I know. I even watched them grill it. Or smoke it, I suppose.
Because it is smoked salmon.
But it's okay. It was fun. I got to meet with a bunch of cousins I haven't seen in a while, and it was fun. And I'm sure they enjoyed not seeing me in a while and watching me vomit on myself. But it's whatever. But I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with it. I think we're kind of done with that. I don't know. I mean, it's only been an hour. Do you have anything else? It's how I was babysitting this morning. It
was fine. I mean,
he was babysitting this morning. There we go. I had to preface that really quick before we came, and it was a little bit of a fiasco to figure out if we could shoot tonight or this morning or not, because you had to babysit and I have work in the afternoon. So we're like, oh, fuck, can we squeeze this in? Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah. So originally what I had told them is like, I have a shoot tomorrow. Like I can't. And then they were just like, we have this person coming at 10 o'clock. They should be done, before 11. Like, can we kind of figure this out? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then we ended up having one of our neighbors, same neighbors, come over. One of the girls, she came over and she offered to hang out so that I could leave a little bit earlier.
That's good. Shout out.
Shout out
to that person.
that
particular person, of which will not be named, but you know who you are if you watch this.
Which, I mean, if you got through the first hour of this, I would be surprised.
Hey, man. Their party was in the story. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And so I was getting ready to leave, and my nephew, he was just like super upset because he's a COVID baby. Not like a baby who has COVID, but he was born like during the pandemic.
Right.
Or like right before the pandemic. And so he is pretty antisocial.
Sorry, he's a COVID baby. Here you go. I can't have him. Here you go.
He got the COVID.
Here you go. Not my problem.
Not my baby.
Yeah, that would suck to be born in that time, Not a lot of interaction, not be able to hang out with even your own family.
Yeah.
Just be born into quarantine. Very sad. So I get that.
Yeah. And so he was being a sad lad when I was getting ready to leave, because he was just like, stranger danger. Not literally, but he was really upset, and it just kind of perfectly worked out that my dad was out in the backyard working with a farrier. So a farrier puts horseshoes on horses.
Okay. I thought you said ferry, and I was extremely confused.
No.
And you said that extremely casually, and I'm like, okay, that's what he does.
Sure. Yeah, so he was helping the farrier because we have 2 horses, and one person can't hold 2 horses while trying to shoe a horse at the same time. And so
very difficult.
Yes. And so that was the whole reason why my nephew needed to be watched. And so it wasn't going to take a super long time. It was just, it was cutting it a little bit close, and I was just kind of trying to figure that out. And so it just so happened, 10 minutes later, my dad came back in the house and everything was fine. And then I got here. But
Perfect.
Yeah,
is this the same nephew that you mentioned before, where you had to watch and you played like the piano and stuff? And
yeah. So he's adorable. He is super interested in
how old is he now?
So he's turning 3 at the end of the month.
Nice. The own ages of your relatives. That's good.
I just know because his birthday is close to mine.
Oh, that's fair.
And I was 19 when he was born, so
having that reference gauge, that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, he will ask me to go play the piano with him, and I'll have him on my lap, and I'll just be playing the piano or whatever. And recently he's gotten super interested in my camera, which has been great, because it's so funny. I'm trying to think of a way to show a visual. So basically, let's say he's taking a picture of the mouse, right?
Okay.
So I would set up the camera and everything, and then I'd be like, all right, dude, push the button, and then he would reach over and just boop. And then he was just sitting there taking pictures of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was so excited about it. And it was so funny because I never thought that would be an interesting thing to do. And then my mom randomly found a picture of me doing the same thing with a professional photographer when we were on a trip somewhere. And so I was like, interesting.
That's pretty cool.
It was really, really cool, because I never really thought about that impacting me at all. And I feel like it could just be coincidence that I do photography now, when 19 years ago I was like,
touching
I want to push the button. Boop boop.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
They just like exploring, man. Tech is cool. They like tech. They just be touching things.
Oh my gosh.
That involve technology.
Yes. And at that age, they're just vacuums for information. Sponges, if you will.
So you may as well just let them do anything.
Yeah.
Well, not anything, but do a lot of things. Try things. Do things. Do you like this? You don't like this? They don't know what they like or dislike.
Yeah.
So just give it a shot. With the piano, the guitar, do random crap.
Yeah.
Let's have a time. Let's skateboard. Maybe not a 3-year-old, but jump on the scooter. All right, let's hit the ramp.
All right, dude, you're gonna drop in on the quarter pipe.
I'm glad. Yeah, I haven't checked in with my cousin yet on the whole line situation. My younger cousin.
Oh,
Felix.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. He also hasn't told me what he wants yet. So we'll see. I'll probably see him this weekend or something, as we do, because I go to my grandparents a lot. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if he's ever needed to do it again yet. Maybe she hasn't been logged out yet of her line randomly. For those who haven't seen the episode before, I recommend you check it out around the latter half of the episode. Talked about how kids are smart. I taught my younger cousin, who's first grade-ish kind of. Apparently he's in 2nd grade.
Oh,
yeah. I didn't know that. I was like, are you kidding me? Wait, what? All right. Anyways, I'm at that point where I'm old, and I'm like, what? He's in 2nd grade? No way. Oh, I said the thing. Fuck. All right. But yeah, I taught him how to do a 2-step verification for my grandma, so whenever she gets signed out of her line account, he can do it. So, because he's capable of doing so. I know he's capable of doing so, Zach. He's performing behavioral experiences in Minecraft. He can do a 2-step verification, Zach.
I think it's so funny that kids are so curious to the fact they will wonder about things that are so complicated, but the way that they think about it is the way that they think about it may be complicated, but the way that they apply it is in such a simple way, what you were talking about with the 2 paths, a villager on 2 paths, one that had the TNT and sand, and then the other one was just regular blocks, and he put a zombie behind them, and then they went on the TNT and they fell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's such a interesting idea, because it's like, I wonder what would happen.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously they don't have like a great understanding of why that is the way that it is, but just learning how something works.
Yeah.
And then later on in life, figuring out why it works that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's super, super cool. And, you know, that's kind of how it was with me with music. Like, you know, I want to learn how to play the piano. I want to learn how to play the guitar and you know,
well, remember when we were like in like elementary school, and we had those projects where we worked with like batteries and stuff, and like wiring and stuff, like making a light turn on, like some sort of like little miniature light, LED light bulby thing or whatever, turn on with like contacts of copper and stuff.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, those were very cool.
So when I was a kid, I had one of those, I think it was like it was similar to like a science fair. And so what I decided to do, well, my dad did most of it, but I helped. We made a basketball hoop. We made it so that the ball was made out of tinfoil, and right under the hoop there was this little contact thing.
I feel like I remember this. When was this?
Oh God, I think it could have been 3rd grade.
I remember this so vividly. This idea. I swear I remember this. Maybe, I don't know.
So yeah,
or maybe someone did something similar before you came. I don't know. It's very cool though.
So we made it, and it was really cool because, you know, we carved a little goal sign out of wood, and then, you know, we just wired it up and everything, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And that was the first opportunity that I had ever really had working with like electronics, if you will. Yeah. Well, working with like wiring and all of that kind of stuff, and the fundamental ideas that my dad had taught me. And the cool thing was, when my dad and I would work on projects together, and it would be a lot of him doing like the harder stuff, he would basically explain how everything was working and like why things worked the way that they did, and like, you know, this is how I got to the point where we're at now.
Right.
And that really, really helped me out when I was a kid, because, you know, of course I was a very, very curious kid. And so, you know, I would sit out with my dad when he was working on his motorcycles, and like, you know, he would just kind of talk me through what was going on. And, you know, of course I was stereotypical flashlight holder. Yeah. But as much as I joke around with my dad about like, yep, that's all I did was hold a flashlight, you know, those moments where I was able to kind of sponge up a lot of information really helped me out. And, you know, he gave me an opportunity to feed my curiosity. And I think that is like one of, if not the most important thing that I'm trying to continue with my nephew is, you know, if there's a way that I can help him continue to be curious about things, and, you know, I want him to learn things. And, you know, if he wants to learn how to play piano, I'll teach him. And, you know, if he wants to learn how to take photos, I'll teach him. Or, you know, anything else that I know how to do that he wants to learn, like I want him to have that drive to learn. Like that, I think that's one of the most important things for me, especially about like younger kids, is like feeding their curiosity and making them kind of like hungry to learn more about things, because kids are smart. We've talked about this already. Kids are very, very smart.
And they might not. Yeah, they want to know. There's, you know, and they'll understand, but they won't know the why. But they'll see they won't know the hi and wow, but wow, they won't know the why. I switched the letters. They won't know the why or the how, but they'll see the what. You know, and that's enough for now.
Yeah.
For now, it's just like, listen, we'll see. This is what you do. This is the result. They're going to kind of forget how they got the result, but they got the result, and they'll be like, wow, fascinating. And then at some point down the line, they're going to figure out the how that they missed earlier, you know? And it's very cool. It's cool that your younger nephew, you can see that kind of like thing where, yeah, I was kind of like this at some point, where I just kind of wanted to smack random things and see what would happen, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, at some point he's going to smack random things, and things aren't going to go his way, but, you know, you kind of figure it out like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of fun. I do. I have one cousin. I mean, she has a piano. I don't know if she plays it. It's the same shy cousin I mentioned before. But she wrote a song, kinda, like sorta. I went to her house one time, and I was like, "Oh, you have a piano, right? Can I see it?" And it's just one of those like toy pianos, right? You know, like just a classic. And she had, what did she have? She had like the note, like the notes written down, not like the letters, right? Of the note written down, not in any sequence or anything, just written down, and it was supposed to be a song. And I was looking at it, and I was like, "Oh, cool, okay." C B or C G B. That's a C major seventh. Where the fuck did you? What the fuck? You know, and she just had these written down. I didn't like. Is there any way? Like, do I play it in any timing? She's like, no, I'm just gonna the chord. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, and just kind of playing around with things and seeing how things work. And it's very cool to see how they just kind of, they don't really get it, but they see the result and they're like, this is the result. I do this to get the result. Why does that happen to get the result? I don't know. I'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
You know, and it's music is a good one. I'd say, you know, if you're not into music already, probably give it a shot. But if you are into music, then, and you have the opportunity to look after a small human, let them try music because it's interesting. You know, you're gonna give them the guitar and they're gonna go dun, 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 and you're gonna like, yes, this is great. I'm glad I'm spending an hour doing this.
but then it'll evolve and change because it'll go from incoherent madness to them hearing a song and wanting to learn how to play it. Yeah. And that'll just grow and develop and become more complex. And, you know, I think just instilling the idea of like even the most basic fundamentals of music, it can get you really far. And like, you know, learning stuff by ear, or like even them hearing a song and being able to sing it like just randomly. You know, it sounds so simple, but at the same time it's so important, especially when you're wanting to develop as a musician. It just kind of turns into something really, really amazing. And I've seen it. And, you know, the people who pick up on it when they're really, really young are able to grow so much. It's so cool. And like, I wish that I had started younger. I mean, I started playing piano when I was like 6, but
that's pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
I mean, dude, it's funny because we started off in a very interesting place and we stuck around there for a while.
We did. Yeah. We kind of basically did the same exact thing we did last episode, except we replaced the gambling part with alcohol. And then we finished off with talking about how kids are super smart.
Yeah.
Because they are, and they deserve recognition. And you deserve to check the description to check out all of our links, hit the subscribe, like, check out our socials, Coffee, Patreon if it's ready. You know, you deserve that. You deserve to treat yourself. After you listen to this, go ahead and sit down and pee. You deserve it.
You deserve a sit down pee.
You deserve a sit down pee. I know I deserved a sit down pee when I was vomiting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not after I was vomiting, not while I was vomiting, because that would be not very ergonomic to get the vomit out while I'm peeing.
Yeah.
Because it would just go onto the floor.
Yeah. That definitely is probably not ideal.
Oh, and also shout out to my uncle that uncle as well. Listen, if you are watching this, I already let you know. Don't feel bad. I consented. It was fine. It was a lot of fun. It kind of sucked, and it sucked afterwards, but it was fine. It's all good. I know now. But shout out to my other uncle who came and helped out because he saw me throwing up somehow while he was all the way over there, because like you can't really see us. Like there's kind of like this wall kind of separating where we were versus where the other older gentlemen were, or the older gentlemen, I guess so as well. The older folk were. Don't know how he saw me, but he ran over, helped me up, you know, even though I was throwing up. And, you know, kind of, it's like, are you good? Like, yeah, I'm good. Shout out to you. Your kids are awesome. I don't know how they remember my names because I don't remember theirs, but they're cool. Yeah. Anything you'd like to say, Zach?
Thank you guys for an awesome year of this channel.
Yeah. It has been this is the year anniversary, I suppose.
Yeah. It's been an awesome year. Thank you guys for all the love and support. It's always a great time.
It would have been very timely to like crack a bottle or something, but it is kind of early. So
yeah, it's 11 it's
12:40.
Oh, it's
yeah, it's not there. Yeah, maybe if I didn't work, then we could have done a later shoot and we could have cracked one open or something. You know,
crack open a cold one.
We'll crack open a cold one another time. Well, I'm trying to think of the timeline because this will go up later, so it has already been a year since the podcast. Whatever, it's all good. Happy 1 year anniversary to An Education Station. Woo! Yeah, thank you guys for sticking through, and we'll see you guys for more episodes, of course. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.